Recently, my YouTube videos have been popping off, but even so, I feel like my videos could have more views. After watching some TikToks and YouTube shorts, I realized what I could do to make my videos more appealing to a wider audience. So without any further teasing, here's my new video format. I hope you enjoy. It was time for some more multiplayer map action. And this time, I wanted to play one of the cuter nations in the Gecko multiplayer mod. It just so happens to be German. And no, it's not Brandenburg. Or the Hansa. And definitely not Austria. The nation I'm talking about is Hesse. Even in vanilla, Hesse is a very overlooked German nation, despite having some decent ideas as well as a clear path to form Westphalia. This nation starts in one of the richest nodes in the game, the Rhineland, and because of the good trade goods and dev cost modifiers, you can become a very tall nation. Very fast too, to the point where you can be very small and still be a great power. Of course, this is a fully filled lobby, just like all games are on my server. And it was important that we acted fast to counteract our neighbors. Because of our size, we still do a couple show strengths. Actually, our first war was a show strength on Brunswick. And Gecko being a very mission-based mod, we needed to also conquer Mainz in order to progress further. We were actually racing the Brandenburg player for Thuringia. Brandenburg gets a claim on it through his mission tree, and we get a restoration of the Union through our mission tree. Luckily, we won the race, and while Brandenburg was sieging down Saxony, we were sieging down Thuringia and able to secure that crown. 3 vassals and we've annexed this. We're not going to get the coalition because that's it. AI is dead, everyone has insane AE, that's it, done. Thanks to talented ambitious daughter, I had a 666 on my throne, and I also had the age bonus to give us development for buildings that we built. In order to secure my borders, since I was hostile with both Burgundy and Brandenburg, I made a defensive alliance with Austria, who promised to defend me if Burgundy attacked us. And with another alliance secured with the Swiss, this gave us time to build the proper buildings we need, specifically workshops and churches to boost our early economy while completing our first 2 idea groups. We had built ourselves a nice little game early eco, and with burger loyalty, golden age economic, as well as a 666, we were developing a lot of our land. It wasn't the cheapest or craziest deving that I've ever done, but it was still really good, especially considering our mana generation was really high with a 666 and good advisors. The good times were coming to an end though, and Hungary attacked our ally Austria. Of course, we were in a defensive alliance. However, I just left the war for some money from Hungary, which he actually immediately accepted.
You need to leave!
I'm just a simple Hessian businessman. Do not judge me. The reality is, in 1480, we lose our age bonus for buildings. And right now, it would have been pretty bad if we committed troops, manpower, money to fight for Austria when we have nothing to gain. And back to building and developing we went. And for a short while, we were even a great power. We were having a solid early game, albeit a bit of a boring one. But on this nation, a boring early game is a good thing. We weren't completely safe though. Even though we were allied to France, it was not really a real alliance, it was just so I wouldn't get the coalition. And meanwhile, the Burgundy player went the Dutch route, which means he does lose his French lands, but he does get more consolidated land and power in the lowlands. He also was expanding into North Germany, which concerned me. I no longer had Austria's protection, and Brandenburg also was my rival. For those 2 reasons, I began making a line of fortifications to cover our north side from both the Netherlands and Brandenburg. As it turned out though, it wasn't us that the Dutch wanted to expand into, probably thinking that we were more of a contest. They instead attacked Brandenburg. The Dutch held 2 provinces I wanted, Meppen and Hoya, and I was afraid that they were expanding too aggressively and getting too strong. So I did the only reasonable thing. Like the old days, dude. I'm not thinking about it. I'm just going. I'm not thinking. I'm just going. With no ledger, it was not possible to see how strong the Dutch actually were. But at this time, they had more force limit, manpower, and economy than me. I just didn't know. Get out of Germany, Netherlands! Get out of Germany, you swamp Germans! The first battle went in our favor. Surely this meant that we would just win battle after battle.
Nope.
I did diplomacy well yesterday. We're gonna just peace out for these two provinces. That's it. The war had lasted so long that Netherlands wanted out. Despite both of us committing really hard for this war, and Netherlands with the positive war score, we came with an agreement that we're both happy with. He would give us Meppen and Hoya, and we would ally each other defensively, ensuring that we would both succeed in Germany and the HRE. Everything in the Lübeck node would go to him, while everything in Saxony and Rhineland would go to me. Might seem like an unfair deal for the Netherlands, but remember, the French really wanted to kill the Dutch, and were just waiting for the truce to declare war on him. Now that I was on his side and willing to help him, he had a fighting chance against France. Did this mean a start of a new friendship through war? One of the best alliances of all time? Well, only time will tell. We bought the province off of Austria. We're now Omega Gaming. Once that's cored, we can full core that, and now all of our provinces are in state. Everyone's going Protestant. Even France went Protestant. What is going on? And about that alliance with the Netherlands, it's already over. And they're drilling on our border. We were truly alone. And it was very clear that the Dutch, although making a deal with us, may turn on us at any moment. And now that we had paid off all our debt, it was time to take some action in the Holy Roman Empire. And this time, not against the Dutch. But before we started any wars, I wanted the better ideas from forming Westphalia. But before I formed Westphalia, I wanted to complete my mission tree, which I was actually 2 missions away from completely completing. In the meanwhile, we kept a low profile, continuing our development while also converting all our provinces to Protestant. We may have only controlled a small portion of the German lands. However, we were a powerhouse forced to be reckoned with. Devin! But when I fired military reform, I took it as a sign that I should declare war on Brandenburg before forming Westphalia. It's time to go, lads!
Love the children as fiercely as we do. We all share one thing, our hearts were given from above, and the only thing worth fighting for in this world is love. On and on through the years, the war continues on.
Finest of Germany. We are the finest of Germany. We're demolishing him in this battle, even though it's a -1, I feel like. I don't know. I'm not looking at the exact casualties. Yeah, dude, look at the casualty difference in that one. Well, it's good because we're finishing all the Hesse missions. We can move on. Get morale thingy with religion? No, I'm saving this for idea things in religion. Remember, morale is not that big in this patch. just like that, without taking a single loan, we defeated Brandenburg, trying to make nice borders against him, as it was more important to me that we had proper states than just snaking him out of land.
We're gonna pop this mission. Boom. 10% goods produced for 30 years. It's time to form Westphalia. As the ideas of enlightenment are sweeping through Europe, we may choose to embrace them ourselves in Westphalia. We got new ideas. Westphalian ideas. More force limits, infantry combat ability, idea cost, discipline, merc discipline, construction cost, state maintenance, and fire damage, cost of advisor with ruler culture. These are great ideas.
And what did we do with these new and amazing ideas? We developed more provinces and built more buildings.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
Yep. And with Austria and France killing the Swiss, that meant that we could expand into our south.
These aren't the prettiest borders. This isn't cute Westphalia anymore, is it? Huh?
And at this point, even though we weren't a great power, we were pretty strong, fielding more than 200,000 troops. And although most chatters were proud of this Westphalia, there were doubters amongst my viewers. Doubters said things like, "Did you poop today at Absolute Habibi?" And, "But TikTok is really haram." Wait, sorry, those are the wrong comments. The doubters were saying things like, "You can't beat this France," and "You can't beat this Austria," and "Dude, you're so small." Not sure what my size has to do with Europa Universalis, but something had to be done against Austria's crimes against border gore. And that someone was me from a year ago.
Dude, the reason why I just had a missionary advisor. Okay, now the backseating needs to stop, okay? Because it's now getting annoying. It's getting to the levels where you guys aren't giving good advice, and it's just getting annoying. So, stop backseating. Backseating over for the day. Sir.
I am indeed. The Netherlands are cringe.
The second session of this campaign was about to end, and I did not have much time to execute this war. Luckily for me, my truce had just expired, and Austria was still recovering in manpower because he was fighting the Turks just 5 years prior.
I have 123 discipline. Without a discipline event, 5.67 morale. And 1527. This is insane quality. I think if this war goes really well, we go to France next.
Austria's ally Poland ensured me that he wouldn't join the war as long as it stayed a 1 versus 1. And I didn't need anyone's help for this war. To make things even better, Austria's forts against us weren't exactly in the best position, meaning that the next 3 forts that we had to siege were all on flat land, meaning equal battles for both sides.
Now that's a lot of damage!
Woo-hoo-hoo! Double the casualties, chat! -2. 50k in reserves here. We actually don't have to reinforce for a while. Morale is being deceptive. Yeah, he's the one running out of reserves. He needs to reinforce. But yeah, we can sit. Look, we can win without reinforcing here. Watch. Look, I'm not gonna even reinforce. This battle is gonna have insane casualties. Yeah, triple the casualties.
And after winning a couple very powerful battles against Austria, he was ready to accept our demands. And this time, we were going to take a peace deal that would ensure that he would not expand into northern Germany. Another victory for our nation, and once again, we were a great power.
Second largest army, 5th highest income.
My last 2 wars against Brandenburg and Austria showed Europe and the rest of the world that there was a new rising power in Germany. However, having the entire lobby's eyes on you can be a very dangerous thing. Word was going out that I was the elephant in the room, not only just a strong nation, but one that will dominate Europe if not stopped. This was concerning to me because it meant the next time I started a war, I might be fighting multiple enemies. And to make it worse, diplomacy failed with all of my neighbors, except for Sweden, who wasn't really the strongest nation in this campaign. Either way, it was going to be very hard going forward, so I laid low once again, focusing on consolidating old Brandenburg and Swiss lands into our kingdom. We actually took 0 loans in our previous player wars and held a sizable chest, so building and developing continued without a hitch.
In these kind of situations, you can't be the aggressor. We need to just chill and we wait for a good opportunity, or wait for them to attack us. Maybe we have some people back us up. Danjananji. Dude, a 646 status to a 656 status. Okay, dude. His name is Napoleon. Oh, his name is Napoleon. Napoleon Van Waterloo. Von Waterloo. It kind of sounds like Waterloo. This Napoleon is even better than the real life Napoleon because at Waterloo he'll win. We gotta keep checking our war chest. Our war chest is now 3,000. Okay, we're gonna stockpile 3,500 just to be safe. Oh my god, dude. Alhamdulillah. 556 chat. 646, 656, 556. What's going on? Is it another Napoleon? It's another Napoleon!
With our borders no longer looking like spaghetti, most of inland Germany united, and yet another Napoleon on the throne, it was time to strike. I once again attacked Austria, as he held provinces I needed to form Germany. This war, I knew someone was going to help Austria, but I did not know how many nations would actually help him.
Ready for an hour of war? I'm ready for an hour of war. We war straight until we're out of manpower or the session ends. That's the goal. Border war. Declare border war.
Once again, we were at war with Austria. And the first thing that I thought was, who's gonna join? Who am I gonna have to fight in this war as well?
Oh, Shaista, we have to upgrade forts.
Just Habibi. How much troops do you have?
Not that much. Oh my
Not
god.
much. A little bit of like 1.
Poland's army at this point was about the same size as ours, so we really needed help if we wanted to win at least one of these wars. And that's when Sweden came in.
I will take my own war with him.
I think I got this. Oh my god, did I just trigger a gigantic war?
Enemy spotted.
Poland, since he was fighting both Sweden and Timurids, wanted to white piece us, which we gladly accepted. However, Austria wasn't done fighting, and in fact, he called in 2 more enemies against us. First, he called in the Venetians, who he still destroyed even on a mountain fort. And then, he called in the Netherlands. We were now in a 1 versus 3 situation, and there was no one we could call for help. Since we had actually pushed Austria pretty hard here, the strategy was to push him a little further, then run back up to the lowlands, peace out the Netherlands by forcing him out of the war, and then coming back and finishing off Austria. With some missions popped, full ideas as well as 100% army professionalism, our army quality was insane compared to the Dutch. On top of that, the Dutch player went for more of a late game artillery build, which still wasn't that powerful in this stage of the game, meaning that we absolutely destroyed him in battles.
It's quality. Like, my morale looks so low. Like, send order.
I don't want land from the Dutch, but
I don't like this.
no. There's a cost.
Yeah, I'll
I
join
will-
because you said
I build that FL and I'm
I
losing
think-
like 500 ducats.
it's not like I want to fight.
I love you, I love you.
Yes!
Go back to the Austrians.
And with the Dutch out of the war and a quick stack wipe on the Austrian troops, we had won against Austria. You thought it was over? No, 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 no. Westphalia does not forget, and we do not forgive. Remember how Poland attacked us after we declared war on Austria? Yeah, he did white piece us, but I wasn't gonna take that kind of transgression lightly. I did need some manpower, which we could solve by slackening a couple times, and we also needed a couple generals.
Watch this,
which is
chat.
great
I'm
'cause
gonna make
we're
a
near
6-6
Hungarian
general.
army tradition.
You name him Grisha. You name the general Grisha, and he'll be a 6-6 general. Watch. Watch, watch, watch.
Oh! What? 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 With our newly acquired general, it's time to go into Poland.
Here we go! Next war!
With his army depleted still from the wars that he had fought, and us very close to his capital, the Commonwealth accepted our demands.
Another victory for Westphalia. Another victory for Westphalia. What? You can't take on this Commonwealth. He's higher development than you. Habibi, France is higher dev than you. You can't take on France. No, 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 no. It's still going. Grisha, I need your hands. I know you wanted to retire, Grisha, but I need you. Go.
We were powerful now, and I knew it. So even though we were low manpower, this was the right time to attack France, especially since he was also fighting, so it wasn't like he was completely full on manpower too. But once again, the Dutch joined against us, and we were now in a 1 versus 2 against the Netherlands and France. My chat thought I had gone crazy, and maybe I did. But all that mattered now was victory.
Did we just win against the Dutch cannon stack without cannons? Dude, we just beat a Dutch cannon stack without cannons.
And with those battle victories, we had successfully beat France and the Netherlands at the same exact time, despite France being higher dev than me alone. The power of Westphalia was shown to everyone. But this is kind of where we peaked in this campaign. Spoilers.
I just don't know anymore, dude. What was that? That was gotta be the most epic sequence that I've ever experienced. Bro, what was that? I need a recap and I was the one playing. Who did we even fight? Everyone. And we won.
Can be countered if you have higher quality. But I don't know.
Look at it. Look at these 3 wars. Westphalia. I love this. I love this. Look, it's just me. People ask me, who's your allies? Who? What? What are allies? All I need is Westphalia. And the Westphalian people. This is crazy to me. I don't know how I did this much more damage to Poland.
What we just experienced was a power spike. You may know the term if you've played RTSs or you've played a MOBA before, but essentially we hit a peak performance or peak strength with 4 ideas, as well as popped missions, as well as with 100% army professionalism. Our build was so strong in that time because of with quantity and quality in the mod, we took no reserve damage in our back row. However, we are next to the Netherlands, which have buffed up artillery, and we're also next to France, that if he conquers the lowlands, will also get buffed up artillery and land fire. Land fire and artillery scale into the late game, so that meant that later on, I was gonna have trouble against the Dutch and the Germans. So I needed to start making some deals with my neighbors so I don't have to keep fighting all of them at the same time. Our diplomacy starts with Poland. We decided to sell him back his Silesian provinces that we took in the war against him, and he would give us some money, a fair bit amount of money too, and we would have a non-aggression pact. The next diplomacy was with Great Britain, who we made a deal with in terms of Netherlands. Right now Great Britain was fighting the Netherlands, and I didn't want to join this specific war because it might escalate it and cause many people to join against me in Great Britain. But we did want to fight the Netherlands, and we made a deal with Great Britain to be his ally and for him to have the English Channel. The Dutch did end up winning against Great Britain. However, France and the Netherlands started having a falling out. So I used that opportunity to attack the Netherlands, who is now alone. And since he was still recovering his manpower, he accepted our demands, and we were able to get our first port city.
Our first port. Bless. We're almost there. It's almost time. I want to be in the voice channel when I form so I can see everyone's reaction. It's time. We're going to unite South Germany. And then form German nation.
Taking Calabria.
There we go. Click this.
I pray to God you can.
What are the ideas here? I'm just gonna stop the music for a second. We have 33% land force limit, 20% infantry combat ability, 50% national manpower, 20 morale of armies, 10 dev cost, 10 tech cost, 5 discipline, 15 trade efficiency, 5 maintenance, 0.5 yearly army tradition, yearly legitimacy, and 20% goods produced. Ready making 100 ducats more.
Okay,
No,
they are
50
cut.
ducats more.
Fuck.
Declares war on Netherlands. I just want my claims. I stole that from chat. Or declare war on Poland. I just want my claims, dude. I just want my claims. Or against France. I just want my claims, bro. I just want my claims. It's not all your land.
Let's go.
Hegemon proclaimed. The German military hegemon. Our full bonus, we get monthly war exhaustion, foreign spy detection, province war score cost, minus land attrition, reinforced speed, regiment cost, which also affects reinforced cost and maintenance, by the way, manpower, land force limit, and all power costs minus 10.
Now, we were a hegemon, and at this point in the game, we were the strongest, even though there was a Persia that was completely uncontested and later became the strongest nation in the game. But in this moment, we were the strongest nation. We had a small period after forming Germany where we just focused on building upgraded versions of our buildings, specifically barracks and force limit buildings. And once we were done with those, we attacked Poland, who was much weaker than he was before. We had completely outscaled Poland, and even in this war, he called in Persia, which wasn't a problem for us at the time. The war against Poland was going great, but then we got attacked by France. And you guessed it, the Netherlands. Technically, this is considered a rule break since Persia already helped the Commonwealth and it's only 2 player allies per war. But I didn't mind the challenge as at this moment I was the biggest army and I was the strongest player. However, the problem that I mentioned earlier started to show. France and Netherlands builds were better for the late game. They had more artillery damage and more land fire, which is more scaling as the game progresses. Which means I no longer was winning battles in insane fashion. I was worried that over time that they would eventually break me, as fighting a 2-front war is very costly in this stage of the game. So I started stab hitting out Poland. As I started stab hitting, the Dutch left the war and I started breaking France on the French front, while completely breaking the Commonwealth. So I pushed for 95 war score so I can enforce my demands, but before I could do so, the Commonwealth surrendered. And we took Silesia, the same provinces that we previously sold to Poland. We got them back and made them German. The rest of this campaign, we spent it fighting France and Netherlands over and over again. At some point, France gets French Empire formable thanks to Netherlands, which makes him a lot stronger. And eventually he could 1v1 me. I barely win that war. And at that point, I was no longer the strongest nation in the game. It was now Persia. So we coalished him, ended up losing. He was that strong. Yes, wow. Persia. Gaming. And besides that, we were able to kill and take a lot of Dutch lands, and that's where the campaign ended. I was the strongest, but in the end, Persia pulled out and was the strongest nation in the game. Goes to show you kind of the weakness or the bad thing about EU4MP is the less player wars you do while having land to expand into, the more powerful you'll be. As you saw, I was really strong at one point in this game. However, I was surrounded by equally strong powers nearby. Of course, they weren't as strong as me, but they were rising powers. And since I always had to fight them and fight these really strong powers, and they stayed in the game, I never was able to get to the insane level that Persia was able to. Part of the reason also why we don't play much vanilla multiplayer, because vanilla multiplayer really encourages you to not get into player wars that often, because if you do, your nation can end up getting really ruined or your scaling can be pushed back really hard, and the nation that ends up not really fighting that much or getting a free war or even ganking ends up becoming more powerful than you. Which is why really in my server we don't really play for wins, we just play for fun, because these games aren't really meant to be played competitively in that sense. What's more important is fun wars and playing for fun and having fun diplomacy and back and forth gameplay, which we had a lot of in this session, so much so that if I put it all into the same edited ways that I did in the earlier wars, this would have been like a 2-hour video. But hey, that's what the Twitch stream is for. Anyways, that's it for this one, guys. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.